Hey guys, Matt here. Today we are going to be working on the Mark 6 Volkswagen Golf R. We are going to be revisiting the procedure for checking the high pressure fuel pump cam follower and then replacing the cam follower and its O-ring. You may remember I did a couple videos a few years ago doing this exact procedure. I was given some constructive and some not so constructive criticism in the comment section. Long story short, the common criticism was that the camera was too far away from the engine, so people couldn't see what I was doing. So today I've got a camera mounted to my head. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. So let's get into this procedure. So we're going to go into the hood area here, and the first thing that I'm going to have to do is remove the air filter tray, the battery, and the battery tray. So the battery and the battery tray need to be removed so I can remove this aftermarket air filter tray. If you don't have an aftermarket air filter, you don't have to worry about this, but you will need to remove the stock engine cover so that you could access the high pressure fuel pump. So here I am removing the retaining bracket for the battery. This should allow me to remove the battery now that the terminals are removed. You'll notice there is a insulating sleeve on that battery. And then at this point we can just start removing the battery tray. And with the air filter tray removed, we can start to actually work on this high pressure fuel pump. First thing we're going to do is start taking these electrical connectors off. There's one up at the top here, one over here near the PCV. And then we can remove this hose from its holder just to give ourselves a little more room to work with. And the next step is to actually relieve the pressure within the high pressure fuel pump. So we're going to want to remove this plastic cap off of the Schrader valve, stuff some paper towel down there, and then with a screwdriver you can push up on the bottom of that Schrader valve and it will release the pressure, and you'll get some fuel coming out of the Schrader valve that will hopefully be soaked up by that paper towel. In addition to relieving the pressure with the Schrader valve, we actually have to remove the entire Schrader valve itself. It is blocking one of the 3 screws that hold the high pressure fuel pump on. So with a 13 millimeter, we're going to crack that loose and remove the Schrader valve completely. Now we'll have to remove the hard line down at the bottom of the high pressure fuel pump because it's going to restrict the movement of the high pressure fuel pump. So with 2 open end 17 millimeter wrenches, I just went ahead and broke the banjo nut free, and then once that's completely removed from the high pressure fuel pump threads, you can just slide it down into the elbow of that hard line. And here I've got the 13 millimeter. Got to break that Schrader valve loose, and then we can completely remove it from the high pressure fuel pump. Okay, with this removed, we can grab our T30 Torx bit and remove the 3 screws that hold the high pressure fuel pump in place. Now we can pull this high pressure fuel pump back, and you can see there we have the cam follower that's actually still in that orifice up against the cam. If you stick a finger in there, you can generally get that out pretty easily. Now we can see that there is some wear to the face of this cam follower. It was originally black, and you can see that there's some wear, and it's starting to show the metal underneath that black coating. It's nowhere near failure, but it does show that this thing was being worn during the last 20,000 miles that it was in this engine. Alright, so now we can open up the ECS Tuning cam follower kit. It includes the cam follower itself, as you can see. You can see the comparison here between the old and new cam follower. And it also gives you a new O-ring. So we need to now remove the old O-ring, which I forgot about. Using a pick tool or a flathead screwdriver or something to get underneath that O-ring, we're going to remove the old O-ring, and then with the new O-ring we're going to need to submerge that in oil or coat it with oil to promote a good seal, and then we can replace that O-ring. The ECS Tuning replacement kit will be linked in the description below. If you do go through that link, it will take you to ECS Tuning, and I do get a small kickback from that, which really helps this channel. So now we're going to do the same thing with the new cam follower. Submerge that in oil just to get it nice and coated. We don't want the face of the cam follower to rub on the cam without any lubricant in between it. So I figured this was the safest option. Just cover the whole thing. Now I'm seating that cam follower back up against the cam, and the ECS Tuning kit also comes with new screws for mounting the high pressure fuel pump. And so now that we've got the O-ring in, the cam followers in there, we can push the high pressure fuel pump up to the mating surface and start installing these 3 T30 screws. On installation, we're going to want to make sure that we're tightening these equally, going around the screws one at a time, tightening them up a little bit at a time so that it applies even pressure to the high pressure fuel pump as you tighten them. Torque specs for these and for everything else in this video is going to be down in the description below. And here we can reinstall the Schrader valve. Again, torque specs are going to be in the description below. Don't forget to recap the Schrader valve with its plastic cap. And now we can tighten up the banjo bolt down on the bottom and reconnect the hard line. You're going to want to make sure that you get this pretty tight. I've experienced in the past fuel leakage through those threads, and so you're going to want to make sure that you check that after the install, and if it's leaking out, tighten it up a little bit more. Now we can reconnect all the electrical connections, and it looks like off camera I did remove the PCV hose just to get it out of the way, so you can reconnect that. Now I'm going to be putting the air filter tray, battery tray, and battery back into the vehicle, reconnecting all of that, making sure to connect the negative terminal before the positive terminal. And this is a huge pain in the butt, trying to get that insulated sleeve into the battery compartment while being able to still close the top of the battery door. Now I've got the battery reinstalled, the battery retaining bracket reinstalled, the air filter back on, and now I'm going to reinstall the terminals again with the negative terminal first, positive terminal second. And at this point, put that cover back on and we can try to start this car. That's the install for the cam follower on this 2012 Mark 6 Volkswagen Golf R. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. As I mentioned, I've got a partnership with ECS Tuning. All of the links in the description are going to take you to ECS Tuning. If you decide that you want to buy something through ECS Tuning and you go through my links, I get a small kickback, which really helps me keep these videos coming out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.